There you go.
Hello, hello?
Hello.
You know what?
I don't even know if I need a microphone in here, but that's okay.
You
Use it
probably
anyway.
don't.
Probably don't.
But use it, it's fun.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Standard Action Screening and Panel. There's a bunch of faces in the audience that I know, but there's a few that I don't. Can I get a show of hands for people who have actually seen Standard Action before today? Yeah, I caught you on that one. Okay. Great. Well, Standard Action is a fantasy comedy web series. We have 2 seasons out. We aired our first season in 2011, our second one in 2012, and we're producing our third one right now. This is yes, thank you. This is a fraction of our team right here, so I'll get them to introduce themselves down the line. How about starting at that end?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Ashley. This isn't working. Oh my, there's a little switch on the side.
Check.
I'm Ashley. I'm the key makeup artist and hairstylist.
I'm Vanessa. I'm an associate producer and costume designer.
I'm Rob. I'm the director and cinematographer. I do a bunch of other stuff.
What's the other stuff?
Visual effects, motion graphics, mastering, color correction. I also move all the camera gear and set the cameras up, and I chief battery charger.
And the list goes on and on.
Important job.
Yeah.
He drives people around and yells. We all do that though.
The band of people
I'm Edwin Perez. I play Fernando. I'm also an associate producer on the show. This year I'm also set construction, catering, and a bunch of other stuff along the way. Yeah.
So, I don't.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Joanna. I'm the producer and the writer. I don't want the microphone, thank you. I'm the producer and the writer for Standard Action. I play the elf barbarian Edda, you just saw up there as well. Thank you. Yeah, I don't really have a plan for this panel because as I figured there aren't a huge amount of people here. So we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. First, right off the top, does anybody have any burning questions for us that they've been holding on to that they want to ask now that we're here? Anyone? You there.
Yeah, so what does the future hold for Standard Action?
Yeah, Joanna, what does the future
Right to the
hold?
meat of it. All right.
Well, I mean, the immediate future is season 3. So we just ran a Kickstarter campaign to fund season 3. We successfully got $36,000 to do our 3rd season. Yeah, and we've got some really exciting things planned for that season. There's a couple stretch goals that we hit, which are pretty exciting. We will have a musical episode in season 3. Wow. Yeah.
Everything needs this musical.
I did it!
Yes, Ashley makes her on-screen debut in the musical episode. Yeah, very exciting. We're sort of pulling out all the stops for season 3. We've got a bunch of guest stars coming on. So we've got some people coming in from Journey Quest and Gamers, which is a couple of things that are shot out of Seattle. We've got we've got another guest from Versus Valerie and Sexy Nerd Girl, which is from Toronto.
And Transolar.
Clancy Bundy
Yeah.
from...
Clancy Bundy from Transolar Galactica. Transolar Galactica is a sci-fi web series comedy out of Spokane, and we just shot with him just last weekend or so, which is very exciting. Don't you want to tell us a little bit about the interesting set stuff we've got going on for season 3?
Yeah, this year, I mean, we've got
Without giving too much away, of course.
Yes, we got 3 major sets happening.
Still watch it though.
And we are just in the middle of building our 2nd set, which is a tavern. And we have part of the musical episode will be set in that tavern along with other episodes. We got some other guest stars actually coming along. It will be in that set. I don't know how much I can talk about the sets themselves without giving too much away, but it's sort of, I don't know, the biggest we've done as far as sets go. You guys obviously know we shoot a lot of stuff out in the forest, and this year having these sets in a controlled environment really goes a long way. I mean, it's a lot of work for the pre-production part of it, and I'm at it 24/7. Today actually I just met up with the art director Carla and cleared out the space. Are getting ready for tomorrow to get rid of a bunch of stuff out of it. We stored away the previous set, and we're ready for construction, which will start over the next little while, the next couple of weeks. It'll be full on to having that done. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff to be able to work in a space like that and have a full-blown set for the standard action world in there. Something that we haven't really seen too much of before. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. In terms of actually sort of what happens beyond season 3, we're not entirely sure. Season 3 is designed to be the end of the story arc that we're looking at right now. So at the end of season 3, you will come to sort of somewhat of a conclusion of the story that we've been telling so far. So what happens after that is really sort of up for debate. I mean, one of the Kickstarter stretch goals that we had for this year was writing an Edda backstory feature film. So we will have that written. But we don't know if and when we're going to be producing it. There's also always the possibility for a season 4. It'll just depend on what people want and if we get money for it and that kind of thing.
We did something cool this year. We did a Choose Your Champion contest where we had a Kickstarter where anybody who donated in increments of $10 could vote on their favorite main character, Edda, Fernando, or Wendy, or Martin. And because of that, we've tallied all the votes of all the people now that our Kickstarter's over, and Edda was the winning character. Joanna was put in charge of counting the votes. We should have probably done. But anyways, Edda won, and so we're like, the season 3 has been written with that in mind and giving her a little bit more interest and depth. And we might do that for our season 4, which is we might let our Kickstarters or our backers actually pick what our next project is. Do we do the Edda backstory? Do we explore some of the storylines that we see in season 3 that aren't concluded?
Cool. Okay, well, for stuff coming up, is there anything that Ashley and Vanessa want to talk about for interesting things coming up in season 3 for design and pretty stuff to look at?
You're not going to talk. So, are you? Do you
We always
wanna
try and
talk?
get Ashley to talk.
Come on, say something.
Right.
Ashley, talk, you know you can.
It's a burning question.
Yes.
Ask it a burning
Are
question.
there any cool monsters?
We
We
always
don't
have
have
cool
any
monsters.
new monsters.
No
Okay,
new
make a
monsters.
list of cool monsters.
You need a list?
Give me at least 5 cool monsters.
Ragamuffin. I'm working on adding a ragamuffin.
This
Well, we're going to be
season?
doing more with puppets,
Yeah.
I believe. We
We
have
might,
kobolds.
we might have some new elves.
Yeah, we're going to have some elves in.
They're monsters, really.
Yeah, kind
Elves are
of.
creatures.
We see a different incarnation of Ikosa, I believe.
More attractive version.
I thought she was damn
She
attractive.
was damn attractive as a dragon.
Yeah.
We're not, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about.
Oh, you should let him talk. About it.
yeah.
We aren't really introducing anything hugely new, but we are exploring a lot of our characters in ways that you've never seen before. So we have some,
There might be a creepy clown.
yeah, we're gonna do a creepy clown, we
Can't
have
watch
some
that, though.
elves, we have some kobold puppets. My character makes a reappearance. We have some really interesting guest stars that we're doing some cool designs around. Like I said, we're doing a different incarnation of a lot of our main characters that we've already seen before, but we're seeing them in new and interesting, different ways. So it's a lot of riffing on the same themes, but making something new and pretty.
Cool. Any other questions out there? No?
On the musical episode, is there a rap number?
No, that was such a plant. Yes. Yes,
a
there
wrap
is. Yes. And you know what? Actually, you know, since you,
Not gangster rap.
Nerdy white people
You know what?
rap instead of nerdy white people rap.
It's
yeah,
wizard
wait
rap.
for some rap.
It's, you know.
You know what I'll do actually is I will play a little bit for you from one of our songs.
So a little backstory for our musical episode, in case some of you are interested. Our sound operator, the guy who holds the boom mic, his name is Kirsten Tennant. And he is a lovely fellow, and his real job is recording bands in a studio. He's like a studio sound engineer dude.
He's a
so
talented
he
man.
was like all over the musical episode, so it sounds really amazing. He was the studio engineer when we brought our team in to record them. He helped the composers, the musical people who actually wrote the songs. So we feel pretty confident that our musical numbers, when they're finally done and everything's finished, will be really good.
Yeah.
And they won't be painful or unpleasant or embarrassing.
And we've already shot little pieces
couple.
of them
Yeah.
there, and they came out really great. And
Yeah, there was some singing and puppets in the forest.
Some really confused dirt bikers who came upon us.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
So here's the
so
song.
yeah, I do have a little sample here. It's less than a minute long, but
Which one?
it'll be fun.
The rapping.
It's still, I mean, it's still in its stages where it's not polished, so it's.
Look this rock that I just found. It is so smooth and just so round. It can be used to fight evil. I like this rock, now it's mine. We've run out of time, just forget all the rhymes. We've got to get out on this plane. Let's not refrain. But what about Martin? What if he's here? What if he's not? We need a new plan, and now is the time. Key change.
Not bad. Not bad for a bunch of actors who aren't musical people at all.
Except for Ashley, she's...
Well, but Ashley we invited on specifically because she has a beautiful voice. All the rest of us were pretty terrified. So.
And Ashley doesn't have any lines, she just sings. That was
The stipulation.
Yeah.
I never, that was all Joanna.
Yeah, I didn't have to ask.
Completely okay.
Yeah.
I tend to, whenever they do anything, I just go,
We have some great pictures.
yeah.
Question.
I'm just curious, what would the Dead Gentlemen be doing, roles they do with your season?
We are inviting 3 of the Dead Gentlemen cast on set with us. If you watch season 2, Brian Lewis is the voice of the Spoon already. So Brian Lewis,
That's the spoon. Yeah, that's Brian's spoon.
yeah.
I
So
noticed that.
yeah, and for everybody who doesn't know, it's the cleric out of Journey Quest. His name is Brian Lewis. He's also in the Gamers movies, playing Brother Silence, and I forget his real word name, Cass, right? And so he played the voice of the Spoon. So he will be coming back as the Spoon. However, the Spoon gets a little more interesting in season 3. So he will actually get to come to set.
It gets broken, and the terrible evil that was inside is released.
Yes.
Played by Brian Lewis.
Played by Brian Lewis. Terrible evil played by Brian Lewis.
He's good at playing douchebags.
Oh, no, not douchebag, evil.
Evil. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're also inviting Christian Doyle, who plays Perf in Journey Quest. And our last one is Scott C. Brown, who plays Flynn in The Gamers, the Bard. Yeah.
Also known as Leo, and he is the orc, the helpful orc in Journey Quest and
Season 2.
Season 2, and Christian plays Gary in the Gamers movie.
Yeah.
Joanna and I actually just worked on Gamers 3, and the Zoe DG short films that just shot in May. I was the AD, and Joanna had a role in one of them.
Yeah, so we've been working with them pretty closely. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
pretty
really
exciting.
good friends with all those guys.
Yeah,
so,
it's really cool to invite them to set. They've never been on set with us before. I mean, Brian did all of his work voiceover remotely, of course. He just sent us the stuff, so it's gonna be pretty exciting. That's actually our next shoot day, so. Yeah. Sorry. Right in the front.
Hey, Rob Hunt. How did you become a director?
I'm really bossy. And actually, I got most of my directing skills from being a dungeon master. So, because as a dungeon master, you play Dungeons and Dragons with some people who might be stoners, and so you need to call them about an hour before they're supposed to leave, not be there, but leave their house. So these skills are the fundamental skills that I took as
You just gotta
a.
tell stoners you can smoke up when you're there.
Yep, but they
It's just
sometimes
like a film
pregame.
crew.
Yeah, but that's
When you get to location.
The big thing that really got me into it was I was actually in my last year at UVic and I took a filmmaking course. And it was really fun, and I was doing a computer science degree, so I could load all the editing software on my computer, and I found a little cheap Handycam that my parents had previously owned that would go onto my computer. So I started doing stuff like that. And I was dating Joanna here, who is an actress, so there's never any shortage of finding actresses or actors hanging around. And yeah, I've just been always trying to do stuff in my free time, and with the DSLR revolution, my interest in filmmaking has really gotten a lot greater because the stuff we make looks so good. So that's really where I come from.
And there's so much less effort in post-production. Like I remember when you used to make movies
Yeah.
on the HV20,
Yeah, the capturing, the video,
the
and all
digitapes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, things have gotten a lot easier, and that's probably encouraged me more to do more, because I can spend the same amount of time and make 2 or 3 web series instead of 1 short film.
Yeah, you're actually making a few other web series right now.
Yeah, I mean, if any of you see Starlit Citadel Reviews, it's a board game review web series that Joanna is actually one of the hosts of. I make that pretty much by myself with me and Joanna and Kaya from Geek Fortress outside, and Ashley's our makeup. Ashley's our makeup artist, and that's just a very small group, but we've got 70 plus episodes out now. And I've got a bunch of other projects. We're actually one thing is that me and Joanna and Edwin have all moved into a house together. And it's a student house, so it's a total beater. But we have a garage that we're turning into our studio. So one thing that's going to be paired with Standard Action this year is we're going to be making a talk show with our tavern set. And it's going to be called The Lonely Dragon. And Joanna and Edwin will be the hosts, and we're likely going to get our friends who have other projects and direct things to come on. And we're going to do basically just like a sort of like a hodgepodge talk show. And that'll be something we'll be launching concurrently with season 3 of Standard Action.
It's sort of one of those things that's like, it's nice in the web series community that you can create a community of web series, because none of us are actually competing with each other. It's the internet, there's no like
Shortage of
time
audience.
slots that you want to aim for or anything. So if we can create more of a relationship with other people in Vancouver who are doing stuff, then that just benefits us.
So hopefully we'll be able to have a lot of people out there who are creating stuff right now, content, just come on, promote their stuff, whether it's, you know, their music, their film project, their short film, whatever it is, right?
Whether it's improbability or blank verse or a Reeks project.
Yeah,
Feature Vanessa produced.
Yeah.
We have another question, I think?
Yeah, we do. 2 questions.
Shoot.
First of all, I'm in the Breaking Bad mood, so in your season, who's going to die?
Oh.
I can't tell you that.
Spoilers, man. Spoilers.
I'll give you a hint. We're Joss Whedon fans, so who do you like the most?
No, we're a comedy, man. Nobody dies.
Yeah. Okay. More serious question. Now, after your Kickstarter and you got the money, the next season is going to be the same number of episodes, or are they going to compress the production? Less episodes, more production values, more effects, or whatever else? I mean, what's the difference now?
Well, one of the things that we did with our Kickstarter was we were pretty clear about exactly what people were going to get depending on what level we got to in our Kickstarter. So we hit a bunch of stretch goals on the way up, which actually got us to 6 episodes for our season 3. Now, we are really hoping that we will have a little extra at the end and to be able to release a little bit more. You know, you always, when you're making an independent web series, or at least when I'm budgeting for my independent web series, we always over budget. So, I mean, things go wrong. There are explosions or people, you know, deciding they can't make it at the last moment, that kind of thing. So there's some cash there to give us a buffer. But maybe, I'm hoping that we'll be able to over-deliver for 3rd season and do more than 6 episodes, but we'll see.
But right now, are these episodes going to be of higher quality of production compared to the former seasons?
Well, I think our production value is going up regardless. I mean, yeah, we have more money this season, but not by much. It's just experience. As all of our cast and crew get more experience and we get better at figuring out this project as well as working on other projects, the production value continues to go up. So our 2nd season looks a million times better than our 1st season, and we are trying some new stuff in 3rd season we haven't done before that's going to blow 2nd season out of the water. So I don't know that it directly correlates to a specific dollar amount, but the production value is going up with everything that we film, we get better. And but the way we structured our Kickstarter, it was for every X amount of dollars we get another episode, or we can do this effect or whatever. So we structured it that way, but yeah, we are getting better, and we are learning also how to better budget. You know.
This is, I think, a very ambitious season as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a musical episode, which is a lot of work. We've got multiple sets, you know, that we're working on. It's not just out in the forest, right?
Crazy amount of guest stars.
Yeah, guest stars coming in, and so it's, we're really going big on this one.
Yeah. We are trying a lot of really interesting things.
Hopefully it doesn't all blow up and then we only end up in 6 episodes. If everything goes well, there'll be a few more.
Yeah, I think the nice thing though about the web series space and in media in general is that you aren't dictated to a season of 13 episodes at 22 minutes an episode. Like our episodes run anywhere from 7 minutes to 15 minutes. It depends on we are given a lot more freedom, and the story and the content actually dictates the format. So like our 1st season, we had a ton of episodes, and we cut that way back to up the production value. But it's really what we can do. So it's very individualized, and so there's not a set amount. Like we aren't given quotas or goals or or caps that we would get from a studio or network otherwise. So like, yeah, if we get to the end and we have extra money, sure, we'll totally shoot more stuff. So we're given a lot more freedom that way just because of the medium in general.
Yeah, and if honestly, we get to the editing suite, we got extra. I mean, if we're aiming for a 10-minute episode and there's 2 minutes of extra content, well, we can edit. It's great. You don't have to worry about saying, yes, we said we would deliver a 10-minute episode, so we have to. We've got room, so it's nice.
We've also got content in between. Like, we're working on this talk show, which we're hoping to be able to test out this weekend and then move forward with it. And hopefully it'll be happening in between all the streaming that we're doing. We've got a lot of behind the scenes. We've got a guy fully committed to behind the scenes stuff this year.
Ishnu the Mind, actually, you saw in episode 0. We have a camera now, a T3i just for him to go around and interview people.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot of that behind the scenes content, pictures, video, and as much as we can possibly capture and put out there.
Actors being weird.
Yeah, a lot
No
of that.
shortage of that.
We shoot a lot of that.
Another question.
I'm just curious, in season 2, how did the goblin appear in the real world, as I like to call it?
You mean the office?
Yeah.
Right.
Purgatory.
Purgatory, yes, we call it purgatory, because that's what offices are. Well, in season 2, you sort of figure out that that hobgoblin, whose name is Kev, actually. We never even hear her name in the course of the show, but her name is Kev, that she's working for Acosa. So it seems that Acosa has sent her there for some dastardly reason, and it never really gets explained. But she certainly has, for those of you who haven't seen season 2, I don't want to spoil it, but she certainly has a very interesting confrontation with Fernando while she's there.
Was that pre-decided beforehand? Because I already knew he was a half-halfway. Was that pre-decided or just off the top random?
No, I wouldn't say off the top random, but I also wouldn't say it was completely planned. It was the half-halfling joke was set up from the very beginning. And to be honest, I hadn't decided what the other half was going to be.
We'd already hinted that Fernando's father had slept with the hobgoblin. Because when he escapes from prison in season 1, there's that hobgoblin Kev knows him and thinks it's Ronaldo, his father.
Yeah.
So that's why, that's his mom. He bumps into his mom while captured, because, so.
Yeah, so, it was set up in such a way that it would allow for interesting comedy and writing later. I didn't know what it was going to be, and it just so happened that by the end of season 1, it was like, we could do that, and then, Then we had
Days of our lives. Days of our
then we
lives.
had a beautiful Star Wars-esque scene. Yeah. No, it's great.
Well, Ronaldo definitely takes more after the dad.
Yeah. Hi.
One more question, please. About writing and improvisation, the balance, if at all, you do any kind of improvisation during the shoots or whatever?
Improv. It's mostly scripted. Most of it is what's on the paper. I'm not married to it though, so if an actor comes up to me at some point and says, I think this is not working, can we change it, then usually it's fine. We tend not to improv until sort of after we've got a couple of takes in the can. After that happens, then sometimes Rob will say, okay, just
Try it differently this way.
keep going after the end of the scene, and sometimes we'll end up with some really interesting stuff.
It's really interesting too, because I end up being on book if we ever need somebody on book, and if all of our actors have different levels of how memorized, because we have some actors that are perfect and they memorize where the commas are and they give that exactly as it's written, and then we have other actors who sort of paraphrase a bit more, but because that's the character's voice, it sounds fine, and they're still getting the jokes across and the lines across and the important information, they hit the beats, and so it's sort of a blend.
I think I get a lot more freedom with the improv. I get away with it more often.
Yeah,
than not.
you totally go off on your own little
Yeah.
things, and then you find these little moments. They're beautiful Fernando moments that you wouldn't have had otherwise, so it works well.
Yeah, whereas I would bet that Tara is one of
Tara's
those
flawless.
pretty much right on.
Tara never has to call line. Tara knows.
Yeah.
She knows it front to
Yeah,
back.
and she's right on. And Daniel will be one of those people who usually comes up to me before a shoot day or in the morning of a shoot day and sits down with me with each line to go through everything and ask about motivations and line changes and that kind of thing, which is really interesting. I mean, everybody's different. And I mean, I change things as I need to. It's easy for me to memorize my lines because I wrote them, but I do tend to change them when I want to. It's just
I have the longest speeches sometimes, and just like, all right, this is what it's going to turn out to be like.
You're the bar.
Yeah.
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 It's what the board do.
Yeah. Improvise on the spot.
Have you the only one that wrote all the episodes in all the seasons until now?
Nope, Rob wrote a couple.
very
There
many.
episode 7 in season 1, which actually turned out to be one of our most popular episodes. Rob wrote. It was one about
Mostly
the,
because I tell everyone about it.
it's one about the mime, and he is writing one in season 3 as well.
But what
yeah.
about opening it up to other creators, like your other friends with other web series or whatever? Ever consider that?
No, it's no.
We don't the big thing is we don't write enough. Like if we had to do 22 episodes, we would totally be like, hey, let's get like a guest writer, a couple guest writers in.
Yeah.
But we only do like 10 episodes, so it's like, you know,
haven't.
like we don't. It's not like we have the budget. It's not like, oh, because like if there was another episode that Joanna didn't want to write, I'd totally write it. Like I have to cram everything in that I want in one episode.
Although, interestingly, in season 3, actually one of the perks that we gave away for our Kickstarter was a guest writer role. So I actually did have to work with somebody on one episode for season 3, and I was really nervous. I wrote to the guy and I said, okay, here's my ideas. Give me what you think. And I was kind of terrified as what I was going to get back because I had no idea. And you know, he paid a good amount of money to have this part in the show, and so I was very pleasantly surprised when I got back amazing stuff from this guy. Like he was just totally into it. He sent me probably 10 or 12 drafts over the course of a couple of weeks, and so that was a really positive experience. I think it could have gone really badly, but it went pretty well. And he actually came up with some stuff that I never would have thought of, and it's really funny. So maybe it's worth it. Maybe I should be going out more and getting more feedback.
It's really hard when you have the story to tell and you have only this amount of time and room to do it in,
And
right? To
budget.
be able to, bring in additional elements and other writers and stuff. But that would be great to be able to open up. But again, it has to have a much bigger.
Doing like
budget.
episodes that can stand on their own, because like
Yeah.
even this season, the story arc of the season is so complex that the one episode I had to write, I still had to, like, the fact that I see Joanna almost every day and can ask her questions about all this is a big part of it. So like mine doesn't interrupt the flow of the overall story and introduces some elements that help set her up later on. So like that would be a huge amount of work to share with even another person who doesn't live in the same house as all of us. So yeah.
Yeah, we've also got to, and I don't know how many people in the audience have made independent film or web series or whatever, but things change constantly. I mean, you end up having to throw away 6 plans before you get to the one that actually works, just because of budget things, or we have to change something on the day, or we have to shoot so much in the day that we have to cut something.
Or the night before you lose a key prop.
Oh God.
Which I am terrible for, by the way, right here. I lose prop all the time.
Massive plot point. Yeah.
Yes, stuff happens, right? And you have to change things really quickly, and so you kind of have to be not married to your script at all. And if you were to bring somebody on as a guest writer, as long as they understood that, then it probably would work. But you have to constantly be able to look at a script and just tear pages out of it if you need to. Any more questions?
I actually just recently started watching you guys. Awesome
Thank you.
series.
Cool, thanks.
You have some really remote scenes though, like in the forest kind of thing, right? I'm just curious, where do you guys find those? Like, how do you go about finding that?
It's about 3 hours hike from no.
It's
actually,
our backyard.
It's Ashley lives out in Coquitlam, and her parents live in suburbia. I don't know if you grew up in suburbia, but most suburbias have a forest chunk in the middle where people can walk their dogs through. That's where we filmed most of, like, season 1 almost entirely was filmed in there. So like, we actually used DSLR cameras with narrow depths of field to hide the deck and the creepy 50-year-old dude in his underwear staring at us. I can't see any of that through the lens, but on the day you can see that. Or like you know how hockey players in the street, it's like car, we've got like dog walker, and we didn't have permits, so we'd be really like pleasant to the people, like, oh yeah, sure, we'll stop everything, just walk on through.
We'd be pleasant anyway.
Yeah.
And in the second season, we just moved a bit further up in the mountains.
Just like maybe
like
400 feet.
Yeah, up in it's parkland or forest. Or
Yeah, regional park.
Yeah, so it's not as remote as you think it is. And if you look closely, you can see dirt bike tracks and paintball splatters.
Paintballs. Look for the paintballs. You can
Yeah.
see them.
But yeah, you don't need to, like, we've also do makeup scenes in Burnaby Central Park sometimes, without
Little
permits.
insert shots, and yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, if you're smart about the way that you shoot, you can make something that's really, really close to your car look like something that's out in the middle of nowhere. And it's just being really careful with what you capture in frame. And we're really lucky in Canada because, you know, we've got stuff that's close by that you can cheat to be out in the middle of
We have every alien planet Stargate ever visited.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because it's the lower mainland.
Yes.
Yep.
Is there a season 2 DVD?
Not yet.
Why not?
There's a DVD file, but there's no artwork for the cover, and we want to do the commentaries.
We're really close. See, the thing is that we
I just
need
get
to,
the-
what we really need to do, and what we're really dedicated to doing and making sure that happens, is that everybody who purchased a season 2 DVD through the Kickstarter has to get it first. So what we'll do is we'll build the DVD, and it's really close to being done. I just have to test it, and we have to get some art for it, and then we'll send it out. And then as soon as that happens, we can make it available online. So I'm sorry. It's one of those things that's like, I wish it were. It's coming
But we've got
soon.
it.
I
Yeah.
hope so, because I don't have a computer to watch your stuff.
What? You
Smartphone.
survive with that? Yeah. Mobile
I
devices.
survive because I don't go on.
Send him your computer.
We actually might be getting, if you don't know about them, the Gentleman Hecklers. They riff on movies in town at the Rio, and we might be getting them to do a commentary track for us, or some of them,
For
which would be
season
cool.
two.
Yeah, for season 2. So
Yeah, and they've pretty much agreed. So
we
yeah.
just need to give them the beer and the DVD and
Yeah.
the audio recording.
Set them loose.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater style.
Basically,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally what they riff on. Have you seen the Gentleman Hecklers? Because it's fantastic. You should totally check it out.
They've done like training seminars with the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys.
Yeah, they do that stuff. They do it at the Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really popular now. They actually pack that place. Anyway, Eric, who's in the Gentleman Hecklers, was also in Standard Action, season 2, episode 1. He was the merchant.
Second version.
Actually, if you guys don't know about it, there's the Critical Hit Show, which is at the Rio every month that Joanna and Edda the Barbarian is actually in. It's an improv comedy show.
It was here last night too.
Yeah, we were last night.
Yeah, and if you, but yeah, they serve booze, so you can have fun with your adult friends. It's not just for kids. So
Yeah, it's D&D improv.
Yeah.
D&D improv.
And yes.
it's really worth it seeing.
That's good.
Isn't that just your whole life?
Any other questions? Oh,
I noticed your costumes changed are different from season 1 and season 2. Are they going to be different in season 3 too?
no, Vanessa.
The reason why we did that is because at the very end of season 1, they leveled up. And like they actually made Fernando made reference to it in his line, like, guys, I leveled up. And so,
Well, yeah,
It was
hold
either-
that one.
yeah, and I took that because, you know, they sort of finished a quest. So they leveled up, they gained some XP, they raided some bodies, they got some loot, so they were able to get new gear. Where we left season 2 was a bit of a cliffhanger and mid-adventure. So usually you don't re-gear completely until the end of the adventure, right?
No, unless you actually loot it from someone else.
Yeah.
You just throw it on.
So yeah.
Better? Yes.
No, there will not be. There's a couple of minor changes.
Changes on my part.
But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of characters where we see different incarnations of them, different versions of them. So there will be some costume changes there. But as far as our regular forecast, they are in the same wardrobe.
The big difference actually with season 1 and 2 is that after a season of 14 days in rainforests, they knew a lot, like the costumes that they wear now are a lot more comfortable and less.
Yeah,
And
like,
rugged.
Yeah, more rugged. And that's the reason why like season 1 costumes were falling apart. Season
Yeah.
2 costumes are fine still, so that's also
Yeah,
just
well,
a
I
cost
mean,
thing.
because I took over the wardrobe, because I shared wardrobe with, and costumes with Edwin for season 1, and then I took it over completely through season 2. And so a lot of the stuff we did for season 1 was like, well, what's on clearance of dress so right now? And
It's
so
like, what can we
it
get
was
away with right now?
Yeah, it was a lot
Put
of,
it together
it was a lot
overnight.
of, I mean, they looked great, but it was, I wanted to sort of up the production value a bit because we got a bit of money, and so it's like real leather armor, chainmail, stuff like that, stuff that was a little more sturdy, and stuff that could be laundered, so that it would hold up to multiple shoot days in rough conditions and not fall apart or something like that.
Except me, I was home.
Question?
Where did you find the mark name?
Interesting. Actually, we bought it at PaizoCon, which is a convention for the Paizo company, which makes Pathfinder, the game. They have a convention down in Seattle or Tacoma that year. I don't remember where it was, but somewhere around there. And yeah, we bought it there. But then Carla, who's our art director and Cos Master, altered it significantly. So she, you know, gave him a staff and changed his cloak, and yeah, so it was kind of cobbled together from bits and pieces, which makes it entirely original, which is nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. I always wanted to get actual minis that we could, because I'd love to be able to play with little minis of Etta and Fernando and stuff, but
Then they turn into geekers.
yeah, well, true. But
We're okay with that.
that's okay.
It can be
They're
done.
cool. We don't mind them.
There are people in this world that can do it for you.
Yeah, it's
$1,000 for a
it's
full length.
expensive.
No, for a little bit like that.
Well,
But,
no, to
but
get
we
them
wouldn't,
made.
we want to be able to produce them. not
Yeah,
just have
to
one.
mass produce, to get the molds made, it's really
Yeah, plastic molds, I think, are 1,000. We were talking to some guys at Gen Con last year. We're very interested, and it's mostly just that we spend all our money on paying people and food, so.
And
I don't know how people would feel about it if we're like, we got these great minis, we're paying you in minis now.
But we only have 4 episodes in season 3. Be like, thank you so much, everybody, for coming.